I don't code outside of work. And by coding, I mean I don't do any work coding or any hobby coding. I guess I'm creating this video to provide a little perspective that when you find a job, you don't have to constantly be grinding, learning to code when you're not working, aka when you're not getting paid. I think the hardest part is getting the job in the first place. So that's when you should be grinding as hard as you can to learn to create side projects. But when you're actually working, you don't need to do all that stuff. I can't imagine myself doing any other job because it pays a lot. I'm just kidding, because I really like the work. I really like the work. But when I started working, it killed all of my motivation to do any kind of side projects, which leads me to reason number one: side projects don't relate to actual working. One of the common tech stacks on YouTube is the MERN stack. And in a company, you'll never see any of them using Express, Node, or MongoDB as the backend because it doesn't scale. So even if you learn these technologies, you won't be able to apply them. I think the most important thing is the foundation, which is learning the languages, at least for front-end development, if you learn CSS and JavaScript. So if you become really good at CSS and JavaScript, that will definitely transfer over and help you be able to learn any type of framework. Another thing is that coding isn't all that's done at the job. I guess that's our primary work, but there's so much communication that goes on. So we have to work with UX designers and try to implement their design, work with project managers to be able to implement their requirements, and then also other front-end, back-end teams that we have to align with. Yeah, there's just so much going on that compared to side projects, it's just totally different. So yeah, side projects don't really transfer over. I felt that if you wanted to become better at your job, then you would just have to work more. The second reason is that I see coding as a job. I feel like some people might be tempted to work after hours because they feel like they're not able to learn all that they need to while on the job. But I've always been able to learn while on the job and allocate time to learn and do my tasks. For example, when I started at my current job, I had no Angular experience, so it was expected that I would have to learn on the job. I did create some Angular projects before I started working to try to understand it a little bit, but after I started working, I pretty much just learned it all while on the job. And I feel like I'm just an average software developer. I've gotten some pretty good reviews from my managers and my coworkers. At least they're telling me I'm doing a pretty good job. I might as well just keep doing what I'm doing. If you're spending a lot of time working outside of work, then you'll set some unrealistic expectations on your teammates and on yourself. Your teammates might be seeing how much output you're putting out and be tempted to try to match that. So I think you should just work the normal work hours. And so for yourself, let me try to give an example. Normally there are 40-hour work weeks, and if you work 50-hour a week to try to meet your deadlines, then your manager might expect that kind of output from you. So they'll keep giving you that amount of work and expect you to complete it on time. And I don't know how long you'll be able to sustain a 50-hour work week. So you might as well try to lower those expectations a bit by just working normally. Which brings me to my third point: work-life balance. I feel like I already code so much. I don't really want to make it my life. It's really just honestly not as fun anymore because I just do it for work all the time. None of my hobbies involve coding right now. I actually really wanted to learn game development earlier this year. I spent a few months doing game development, but I kind of got really tired of coding all the time, so I don't do it anymore at all. I think it's good to have hobbies that don't involve coding. Some of my hobbies currently are learning Japanese. I really want to watch anime without subtitles. And also I'm working on this YouTube channel, which takes up a lot of time. I think in the end, I'm pretty happy, and this is because of the work-life balance that I've created for myself. I know it really kind of depends on your manager, but I think it's something that you can also kind of manage yourself. And my final point is that the commute sucks. I commute to LA, which is around 30 miles from where I live. Well, that 30 miles should be like 30 minutes, but it's not. I used to go into office 4 days a week, but now I go in 3 days, and I feel like I have so much more energy. My company lets me work flex hours, so I could leave a little later, which is pretty beneficial for me because there's less traffic. I guess I'll talk a little bit about my schedule. I usually get out of bed at around 9 a.m., but I am awake before then, looking at my phone at like 8:30, and then I leave my house at around 9:45. By then, the traffic isn't so bad compared to the traffic when I leave the office. I usually get to the office around 10:30 a.m., but maybe a little bit later. I'm usually in the office as the last one standing till 6:30, and by that time, it's way better than at like 5 p.m. though, when the traffic is around like an hour 30. I get home at around 7:30, and I'm already so tired. I kind of just eat dinner and then take a nap, which is pretty bad for me, but I can't really do anything about it. And when I wake up, I don't even want to think about coding at all. I don't do any work. I just do my hobbies. I learn Japanese and then work on these YouTube scripts and editing. And so far, I've been pretty happy. So those are all my reasons I don't code outside of work. Actually, the only time I will code outside of work is when I have to prepare for job interviews. LeetCode sucks. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.